Hello guys, welcome to lesson 7. So this is going to be the last, official lesson in the series, and we're just going to focus in more depth on joints and components and an extension of the last lesson. So to start off, I'm going to actually make a new joint, and when we do this, there was no capture position dialog because there had been no changes. However, if I press cancel, drag this around, and press joint again, now it gives me the option to capture position or continue. See, in this case, if I press capture position, I'll go into the menu, the dialog menu, with this positioning in it, and it will save it in the history bar. If I press continue, it will just revert to the previously, captured position or how it was inserted. And that's what I want in this case, so I'm going to press continue. And now I'm going to press, and this can be a little tricky, I'm going to get on this face, but I'm going to try and align this circle so that it's parallel to the plate, which will make it at that specific corner. And then I'm going to do the same for this, and you'll see how it lines up. So now those two corners are going to meet, and so those circles are parallel, which is quite useful. And if I press the flip button, you can see that this will raise the joint up there, which is actually what I want in this case, since I don't want them clipping through each other. And I'll rotate it to what I want, and hit OK. So now that is how you can make, a general wall attachment. I mean, this is definitely not necessarily what we would always do, and it would be a little bit, almost ghetto to do as part of our building process. But if you need to prototype in a pinch, this will work, so you can do it. Usually we would use 90-degree bends for that, though, actual components. So then I'm going to go ahead and do the same suboptimal tactic down here. By importing a new component by dragging it in again. And I'm going to create a joint between this part and this part. So to do that, I'll press joint, and I'll this part and that part, which should align them up correctly. And in this case, it does not need to be flipped, so I can simply rotate it into place. It's going to be around 270 degrees. Check, make sure it's good, and I can click OK. So now we ended up with I guess you could call it a project enclosure. It's really not a project enclosure. It's just an exercise for working with components. But at the end of this video, this video series, you should have ended up with something that looks like this. So this will conclude our official part of the video tutorial series. And now we will just move on to some extra stuff outside of it. And I know this was quite rushed and everything, but I'm really hoping to get everyone simply just working in CAD instead of necessarily having all the information. So you can go ahead and save this and send it to Thomas and I. So yeah, now let's move on to some of the less important but still helpful things that you can do.